Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on Newsx. 5 weeks into the war, diplomacy is still struggling to keep pace with the battlefield. Tonight, a fresh attempt is emerging from an unlikely partnership. Pakistan, after failing to gain traction on its own, has brought China on board to push a joint 5-point peace plan aimed at de-escalating the West Asia conflict. The proposal is calling for an immediate ceasefire, return to dialogue, protection of civilian infrastructure, security of key global shipping lanes, and adherence to the United Nations Charter. On paper, it sounds like a structured roadmap to calm tensions, but the ground reality tells a very different story. Both Iran and Israel have made it clear they are not interested in mediation at this stage. Military operations are ongoing, and positions on both sides appear to be hardening rather than softening. That puts the spotlight firmly on the US and more specifically on Donald Trump. The big question now is whether Washington will even consider backing this China-Pak proposal, because without US support, this plan is unlikely to move forward in any meaningful way. At the same time, Pakistan itself appears to be under visible pressure. There are signs of an internal strain, with emergency-like measures being rolled out, schools shutting early, government meetings shifting online, and public gatherings facing restrictions. The economic stress is also becoming evident. Fuel prices have surged, diesel rates are climbing, and inflation is once again on the rise, adding to the challenges for an already fragile economy. With limited support coming from key Gulf nations, Pakistan has turned to China in the hope that Beijing's global influence can give this peace effort some weight. The timing, though, remains questionable. The war is still active. Trust between the warring sides is almost non-existent, and there is little appetite for talks right now. Joining us live to discuss this further is Ambassador Bhashpati Mukherjee, former diplomat. Gautam Mukherjee, senior journalist, also joins us live. Sumit Peer, political commentator, is joining us on the broadcast. Major General Sudhakarji, geopolitical expert, is also with us live on this program. Ambassador Mukherjee, let me begin with you first on what you make of this failure by Pakistan to make headway in mediation. Was this expected, given their lack of gravity and obviously less mediation experience? And is it unlikely to change now, even with China's backing?
Actually, Uday, you are paying a great compliment to Pakistan by saying that they are a mediator. They have been described as an intermediary. An intermediary is very different from a mediator. Intermediary is like a chaprasi, who takes a piece of paper from one guy to another guy and back. That's what they were. That's what they were trying to do. Secondly, when you're a mediator, you become a mediator when you're invited to mediate by both sides, hopefully, usually both sides say this particular country is acceptable for mediation. The Pakistanis did not wait. The field marshal just jumped right in, which actually is a very strange thing for a field marshal to do, but I'll wait for General Sudhakarji's comments on that. Thirdly, the peace plan which they've brought out with China again shows that Pakistan has no strategy. That way they are very similar to Donald Trump in this war. They are in a state of total strategic confusion. On one hand, they have a defense pact with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is allied with the United States. Saudi Arabia has bases, US bases. On the other hand, everybody knows that Pakistan is totally dependent on the Chinese. They are like a proxy for China. They have brought out a peace plan which is totally unacceptable to both Iran and to Israel and to the Gulf states. So under those circumstances, it is not clear to me whether I can even call them anymore an intermediary. I would actually call them a flop intermediary. They can't even be an intermediary. Their plan makes no sense at all. And the approach of both Iran and Israel have been hostile to this so-called peace plan. And this so-called peace plan actually is a major setback to the Israelis, who will make sure that the Americans will never agree to it. And you have the field marshal, who on one hand is allied with Donald Trump, offering him critical minerals on a tray, like we do for guests when we are arranging a marriage. On the other hand, you have the field marshal jumping around with China. You have the field marshal in a defense pact with Saudi Arabia. So my question would be, when people ask, what is India's strategic autonomy? I always answer, it is the opposite of Pakistan's strategic disautonomy. Thank you, Vijay.
Let me take that to you as well, Sumit, on, of course, whether these efforts are now going to get any sort of heft or a positive direction with China coming on board as well. Obviously, this does smack of desperation, but will the China-Pakistan combo yield any results in trying to broker peace in the Middle East?
Uday, thank you very much for having me on your show, sir. Well, to begin with, look, there's a saying, Begani Shadi mein Abdullah Dewana, and there are two Dewanes. So it used to be one, I have to make it two. So that is what these two are going. Let's look at some facts and put things in perspective. Nobody asked you for a ceasefire. Trump had just now rejected the so-called ceasefire. So if there is no talk of a ceasefire, what are you two monkeys trying to jump around? It's not a circus. So you try to do a ceasefire, people are willing to talk of a ceasefire, or there is something. Are you, even seen as those mediators? Even I can, you can go tomorrow, okay, let's mediate. So what does that mean? We can be the VIP of our own function, that's a different aspect. But you're nobody in the political arena. Point number 3, Pakistan does not want to fight because, they are in a position, they have a military pact with Saudis. They've just now told Saudis, we did not come to defend you because you didn't pay us the money. You said the investments will come in Pakistan, they were never paid. So basically what I call Pakistan is a prepaid jihadi. Well, you didn't top up my calling card, so you can't make any calls. That is what Pakistan is. Now look at China. I have a $350 billion pact with Iran, and I'm going to get all the oil for next 20 years, 30 years, everything. And last so many days, they've been able to take out 2 tankers out of there. And that's why Trump always calls them, why doesn't China come? Why doesn't China come? Why doesn't Chinese Navy come? Now, you remember Wangi going there and selling that there is no Shia-Sunni divide. Saudis and Iranis are the bestest of buddies. And Saudis are the people, and the UAE are the people who have got the maximum missiles out of that pact. If I look at the missiles sent to Iran, Israel, 425. If I look at the missiles sent to the neighboring Sunni countries, 1240 plus. So even today, Qataris were hit. Even today, UAE was hit. Today, even today, Saudi was hit. Last night, Rastonara was again burning. Now, with all those things happening, what are these two trying to do? They are trying to steal some limelight, trying to become some honchos, because both have vested interests. Pakistan does not want to fight. They want this war to end so they don't have to fight. They don't want to get exposed. China's weapons are already exposed. China's stature is exposed. China's supremacy is exposed. Chinese navy is exposed. And Chinese pact with Iran stands exposed. So what do they say? Okay, this is our peace proposal. We want to do it. But have you spoken to the Americans? Have you spoken to the Israelis? Have you spoken to the Iranis? Whom are you speaking in Iran? Who is the leader of Iran? If you can know as last time. So, this looks kiddish. I don't know why does a country like China even get this, Bikhari Pakistan with them and try to give a proposal. Even China could have given on its own, still it could have had some weightage, some consideration. And you see, Uday, the tyranny is 24 hours have passed. Iran, forget US, forget Israel, even Iran has not replied anything on that. It is something, it's like a dustbin. It's like what do you want? You'll have that paper in which you get pakodas, and the pakodas are over, you throw it in the dustbin. It's exactly what happened to their proposal. I don't know what they are trying to do. What is this Pakistan's whole business? And I'm telling you, the debacle in the Middle East, what is happening right now to the Sunni countries is primarily because of 2 countries. One is Turkey and one other is Pakistan. What is this Muslim NATO about? What is this Muslim Quad about? What were they trying to have a meeting of a Muslim Quad in Islamabad a couple of days again? What could this Muslim Quad, really achieve? And if you look at the Ishaq Dar's tweet where he said, President of United States has told he has confidence in Pakistan in mediating, and exactly after 6 hours of that, Trump says, I'll blow up your power stations, I'll blow up Kharg Island, I'll blow up your desalination plants, I'll blow up all your oil wells. So is Ishaq Dar lying? Of course he's lying. So what are these 2 guys trying to do? The only 2 guys in the Islamic world who are trying to use best advantage of it and trying to use it to best of their advantage. One is Tayyip Erdogan, he wants to play his own games, and second is Pakistan, who possibly wants to make some money out of it. What Pakistan should answer is, who is transporting those 30 tankers of oil to United States of America? Why do these oil tankers have Pakistani flag on it? So the Pakistan is not a mediator, sir. Pakistan is the courier. Pakistan naya courier service who are transporting the oil from the Islamic world to the America. And is Pakistan the traitor of the Islamic world? Does Pakistan spy for America? Because wherever Asim Munir of Pakistan goes, people die or people lose wars. Last time he went to Iran, the general got killed. Everybody who got a watch from Asim Munir, everybody got killed. This time they never let him enter Iran. He tried to go to Iran, they said, bhai nikal, don't enter here. No, now if you look at Pakistan, who sold Osama bin Laden? Pakistan. Who sold Ayman al-Zawahiri? Pakistan. The problem with Pakistan is, if there's a good money on the table, they can sell anything, anybody, everybody. Even as the money on the table. So who trusts Pakistan? Even in the Islamic world, forget Israel and America, nobody trusts them, even this in the Islamic world. And Chinese, I don't know how either they don't understand Middle East, they don't understand Islam, they don't understand conflict. They think everything is Xinjiang where they control things and where they trample all the human
Yes.
rights and they force convergence. That is not how the world looks. And I want to just say one sentence, Uday. Mr. Wangi, you said you have got very good relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and they're the best buddies. You had that photo up. Look at the amount of missiles which Iran has fired on Saudis.
Okay.
Look at the quantum of damage they have got.
Okay.
And I really want you to recalibrate your position.
I'll come back to you. What do you make of this peace plan? This 5-point peace plan being proposed by China and Pakistan. Is there any merit to it, Gautam? On what rationale have these 5 points been conceived by China and Pakistan? Who is behind this, and what is likely to be the outcome?
Well, as both the earlier panelists pointed out, they are intermediaries. They propose something, yes, but there is a gulf between direct talks and indirect talks, and there is some fog of war as to who they're talking to and whatever their responses are. At the moment, the best way to look at it is that America and Israel attacked unilaterally, pretty much. They didn't talk to a lot of people before they attacked. And now Israel has made it clear that its objectives are not met and it will continue. Whereas America is saying, my primary objective was to degrade the missiles and the ability to make nuclear weapons, and they feel that this has been achieved. The other thing is the whole blackmail, or if you like, leverage, is being employed by Iran against America. So if America pulls out now, and I hope that is what will be defined when Trump speaks later on tonight, American time, and that is what the world is anticipating, that this war is going to end. He says, I don't buy Gulf oil in any case. I mean, I don't need to buy Gulf oil. I buy it if it's available. Shale oil costs $60 to produce a barrel, and Gulf oil costs $3 to produce a barrel. So obviously, it's quite nice to buy it rather than use the shale oil, even though America is self-sufficient in it. So what's going to happen, I believe, is America is going to pull out unilaterally, won't have to worry about ceasefires, won't have to worry about NATO countries that have not cooperated, won't have to worry about the Gulf saying, look, you hit them so hard that they've blown up everything we own, because that is the danger now in escalation. What I think is going to happen is over the next 2 weeks, if indeed Trump sticks to his timeline of 2 weeks or so, then he's going to hit certain selected targets without giving Iran an excuse to hit everything of vital importance in the Gulf, so that the Gulf then turns around and blames America for destroying their oil assets, their water, their desalination, their power, everything. So I don't think he's going to do that to Iran, and neither is Iran going to have a ready excuse. They do it unilaterally, that's another matter. The last point I want to make is that when you attack a country that has been entrenched in this for 47 years and is 90 million people, and is a pretty large country with very intelligent people, you're not going to get this entire thing done at one go. And I think America, the strategists there have decided that is so. They may have to come back at a later date and attack them once again. But at the moment, they've gone as far as they can. They can destroy a few more targets to diminish their ability to wage war and leave. Within 2 weeks, out they go. Oil will automatically come down. Hormuz will be negotiated one-on-one between countries bilaterally. Already oil is tending downwards. If America leaves the arena, it'll go down very fast. Israel can carry on, and America, as usual, will be backing Israel in any case. So this is the situation. It doesn't much matter what the Chinese Pakistani proposal is, or the other four nations that have come in and tried to help.
Yes, but we have to ask you, Major General Sudhakar ji, about why there is this desperate effort by Pakistan to be a mediator or an intermediary, as of course our previous panelist said. Why is there this desperation? No one is listening to them. Obviously, these efforts are not making any headway. But why is there this desperation to have some sort of result? Is it for relevance globally? Is it to rescue their failing economy by getting the conflict to end, because they are suffering internally quite a lot? Or is there something else to it? Major General Sudhakar ji.
Good evening, Uday. Thank you for inviting me for your show. And my compliments to all the very esteemed and distinguished co-panelists. In all the headings that you have outlined, you are not wrong. You are right. But I have something else in response. Pakistan is doing all this for one central thing, that is survival. Relevance is fine. Rescuing itself from criticality is fine, but survival. They're in such a jeopardy, in such a complex situation, like Sumit has very beautifully explained, that it is for survival, they have to play to the gallery. Now, what is the meaning of this playing to the gallery? So each of the headings, subheadings that you have covered, they're actually touching those points. But more than that, it is the next bailout they are looking at. Pakistan is in a very serious, critical economic situation. Unless the next bailout, they have to actually toe the lines of America and find a solution. Now, when you come to answer this question, is Pakistan, either you call them, let's not get caught up in the semantics, whether it is intermediary or mediator, they certainly don't deserve. I don't think they even deserve to become a courier. Courier is much more reliable and responsible. Pakistan even doesn't have that kind of responsibility and maturity. So we need to hunt around for another suitable acronym, maybe name, which is going to match the derogatory status that Pakistan enjoys today in the world order. So be that as it may, firstly, a country who has got blood on the hands and been established as the sponsor of terrorism and also producer of terror, they have got the seminaries which are responsible to give birth to terrorism. Now, will that country ever be able to bring about peace and bring some kind of a ceasefire? The short answer is no. So what is it they're there for? They're there for playing to the gallery of the sentiments and the emotions and the temperamental behavior of Donald Trump, because world over, out of 192 or 93 or 202 countries, it is only the Pakistan's leadership which is been found fit by Donald Trump to meet his expectations and aspiration to address the temperamental behavior of this gentleman. Now let's come to the final issue that we are looking for. Under the circumstances, I personally feel that Donald Trump is actually caught in a bind. When I say caught in a bind, between restraint and escalation. If he restrains, he's doomed. If he escalates, he's doomed. Now let's talk about the escalation. I have coined a terminology. It is called as escalation entrapment. Now, what is escalation entrapment? More he escalates, more he gets entrapped. Entrapped into what? As on today, Uday, the strategic support parameters. When I talk about the strategic support parameters for a superpower which has gone in for a conflict, what it means as multiple levels from front line till the rear line, where the strategic reserve is supposed to have in the command headquarters at Florida, the forward base is in Qatar. Now, their reserve is supposed to be, say, X amount of Tomahawk, Patriot missile and the interceptors. that X level is no longer there. It is already facing a criticality of X minus 600, X minus 1000, likewise. So each of these weapon platforms, if you go into the details, you find two things standing out. Firstly, the duration of manufacture. Number two, the capacity of the defense industry of USA. Number three, the dependency on the rare earth element. There are such critical rare earth because of lack of time.
Yes.
I won't like to use those foreign languages, but the criticality is so high that unless they take it from China, they cannot produce. A Tomahawk missile takes, interceptor takes between 1.5 to 3 years to manufacture. Cost is between 1.1 to $11 million.
Right.
And now a missile is costing $4 million. These are all used to actually neutralize one flying platform which is produced earlier $20,000 per drone. Nowadays, mass production is actually taking them to $2,000. Look at the cost differential. So because of these circumstances, Iran's aim has to be studied in detail. The doctrine of Iran. Iran wants to raise the cost of victory for USA and Israel, and thereby pushing back the USA from Middle East, pushing back the footprint of USA from Middle East.
All right.
Will Donald Trump ever do that?
Stay with us. Hold that thought. More breaking news, in fact, coming in that we're getting this hour. Iran's foreign ministry has now strongly rejected claims by Donald Trump that Tehran has requested for a ceasefire. They've called the statement false and baseless. The ministry has made it clear that Iran is not seeking any truce or negotiations at this stage, even as tensions continue to rise. Backing this position, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi has said no ceasefire proposal has been made by Iran. They've dismissed reports of a 5-point plan as mere media speculation. They've also asserted that the war will continue until the aggressor is punished and full compensation is secured for Iran. Major General Sudhakarji, what do you make of this rejection of any ceasefire or proposal by Iran?
Be mindful of the fact on 29th of December 2025, 56 aircrafts had come from China and landed in Tehran. What were they carrying? And whether it is corroborated or not, that investigation will further reveal. And in the month of January, more than 50 aircraft from Russia have come and landed in Tehran and in nearby airfields. So what are they carrying? And Russia has gone on board to declare that they have been supporting Iran. They will continue to support. It is a strategic partner, and they will give all kinds of requirement which is being demanded or requested by Iran. So much so that here is a country which is enjoying the asymmetric status and also gone on to declare a doctrine called a rope the dope. That is Muhammad Ali's doctrine. You tire the opponent so badly, bring him on his knees to such a level that whether Iran does it or not, I don't know. But it will be very, very viable for Iran to give a knockout punch. That is what precisely is happening. They are bleeding America and Israel, not to death, but to inefficiency in the combat that they are already deep into. So therefore, what does it bring to? It brings me to one thing, that Iran, if push comes to shove, they will resort to guerrilla warfare. But they will make sure that the America never returns to Middle East. Number two, they will make sure that they have got such capability. We are not talking about oceanic missile. We are not talking about Avat. Nobody is talking about there is a railway line connected between Tehran and China. For past 2.5 years, this railway line has been operationalized. It takes 10 to 14 days for movement of oil, crude, and also the military hardware coming from China to this place. How is a country like Iran able to defend itself despite the superpower and the Israel both put together, and the full military might has been actually put on Iran? How is it that Iran has been able to defend itself? That is the moot question. And my take on the whole issue, as a forecaster, I would say that this is going to be a long haul. Donald Trump can neither pull back nor can he escalate beyond a point, because now it is the stock levels are totally depleted. Iran is on a strong point, and the only way for Donald Trump to pull back is to take a sharp blind U-turn and get back to his home to look after.
Well, he will be addressing the United States of America very, very shortly in a few hours. So let's see what he says.